1 second. Yeah. No.
Hello, IoTeX community. Today we have a very special version of our live stream AMAs, Mainnet edition. And today I have Raullen Chai and Jing Sun, two familiar faces that everyone should know. Right. But for people that are new to the network, do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Raullen, co-founder of IoTeX.
Hi, Jing, co-founder of IoTeX.
Yeah, so maybe share a little bit about what you guys are up to these days before we dive in.
Yes, like this, they are super busy. Like the entire team is working on the Mainnet Rehearsal, which is coming tomorrow. Actually, less than 24 hours away, I would say. So like the tech team is busy to tune in the software, fix bugs, trying to identify new issues, new feature requests from the community, and so on and so forth. And the marketing team, I'm sure, is also very busy too.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Jing, what have you been up to?
Yeah. So basically, these few weeks, everyone in our team are in the war room, which means that everyone is on call, and the marketing team is also we're busy with talking to all those delegates. Some of them, they are new to run the node, so a lot of the coordination with their tech team. But the good thing is most of the run the testnet node on our most recent updated RC5, right? So everyone
RC6 is on the way, by the way.
Okay, so everyone is well prepared and ready for the rehearsal. And another thing is for the marketing team is we are prepare some of the special gifts for our the early voters members. So stay tuned.
Yeah, so busy times here at IoTeX, both on the tech and the marketing side, but everything's going great. As Jing mentioned, we have everyone mining on the testnet now, and we're starting our mainnet rehearsal tomorrow, which is very exciting. So the way we want to structure this live stream is, first we want to have Raullen give a brief overview of the tech progress and explain more about what exactly is mainnet rehearsal, what's the purpose, who's going to participate, and just the general philosophy of why it's needed. And then we'll jump into some of the pre-submitted questions. We got over 12, 15 pre-submitted questions, so thank you guys for that. And then finally, we'll answer some of the live questions after. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat column, and we will be sure to answer them. But yeah, mainnet rehearsal, I'll leave that to the maestro. Okay. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Sure. So yeah, let me start from very beginning, right? So we launched this staking and voting program probably like 1 month ago. Up to today, we already have like 25% of circulating IoTeX tokens got staked and voted towards those delegates. And we have some very decent delegates who are actually currently listed in the top 12. So some of them are from tech background, some of them from an investor background, some of them from community background, but it's really good to have them all, right? So this is good, but also pose a challenge for us because we will have to coordinate with those people. They are not all coordinate with them together to launch the mainnet, right? That's not easy task. So that's why we have a kind of a 3-phase thing. So first phase is we launched the testnet, which is I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago. Basically, everyone can use some testing token called IOTTT, voting on the testnet, trying to pretend to get elected and run a node, produce some blocks, and earn a testnet reward. Basically, it's a fake reward for now. So the purpose for that part is getting everyone up to speed to where we are and trying to get familiar with our software, how to run it. Up to now, I think most of a top 12 or even top 20 delegates that got elected on the mainnet side already showed up on the testnet, which is really good. So they already trying to have their node up and running, produce blocks, get rewarded. That's really good. That's phase 1. It's almost nicely done, right? So phase 2 is basically we are closer to the mainnet launch. So that's what we call it a mainnet rehearsal, a different pipeline. So we use IoTeX token, the real staking contract, the real ranking for everybody. But we use a controlled a registration mechanism to make sure we can still try to have some control over the entire process. But the thing we are trying to do tomorrow is basically to encourage everyone on board, especially the top 12 ones, because they will be the ones who's producing blocks in the mainnet, right? To actually trying to stay together talking with each other, kind of trying to know each other in person, right? Kind of like created this like a community effort. Then they will have to run their node to join our like a robot node from very beginning. So we are actually produce like the Genesis block. So this is like a kind of rehearsal. If we succeed, we will have it running for another probably 7 or 10 days, and we will do another try. If it succeed again, then we will make it running for another 3-5 days and call it down, right? So if something goes wrong, of course, software can go wrong, right? Then we will probably stay in this like rehearsal mode, probably 1 or 2 more weeks. I don't know off my head, but I hope everything will go well. Then phase 2, once it's done, we will really launch the mainnet. That's phase 3. That will probably a few days after the closing of phase 2. So that's the current plan.
Yeah. So some important things to note is that when we do have this mainnet rehearsal tomorrow, it will be, as Raullen said, a new pipeline that's using the actual votes, actual real IoTeX token, real protocol. It's kind of real like the soft launch of our mainnet. We have a lot of questions in the community around when mainnet, and it's important to realize that we're doing this rehearsal first because security of the network and of your tokens and of everything is of the utmost importance. So extremely important to just prepare and rehearse for a good month, even outside of the testnet. So
sure. Actually, just like some fun fact, actually from our delegates, say actually just like we are kind of one of very few projects, from the phase 1 of the mainnet. We already run by so many outside external delegates. So definitely this from day one. This is a decentralized efforts. So we are very excited. It's very challenging actually, right? So it's not like you can change the way how to run run the network. Actually, this is have to rely on all the delegates' joint efforts, right? So that's why we want to make it that the whole process actually just like it's really thoughtfully to design and make sure everything can be step by step get to the criteria or performance criteria secure the network bootstrapping process.
And I think these days we're talking a lot about delegates, but also this is important for voters, right? I think delegates will be the ones that are attending the rehearsal and going through the process of teaming up and bootstrapping the network from 0 to 1. But it's also important for voters to follow along and see. We're going to be publishing very soon a report of which delegates attended these mainnet rehearsals, who's producing blocks on the testnet, and any metrics that we can give you guys to add that transparency. We're going to be providing. So stay tuned and just be involved in the process. Again, we'll dive into some questions around voting and reputation in the network, but it's not all about rewards. It's about who's reliable, who can go through this mainnet rehearsal correctly. So we're going to provide you all the facts, but it's your job as a community member to participate in that and just so any other thoughts regarding mainnet rehearsal before we dive into these questions?
No, actually, just like we are very impressed by our community. So we didn't expect so many participants from day one, and also that help us achieve the goal which is 20% of the token circulating token stake just in 3 days.
3 days.
And now it's still growing.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. So actually just we encourage everyone to keep staking and voting. And most importantly, we want all those voters who already be supporting our network. Please refer your friends and to this project. So we encourage more people to join the network.
Absolutely.
Also I have the same feeling actually. Lots of delegates, they are really deliver a very, very quality work, no matter a tech work or community work or other type of works. I can see in our Telegram group, they're IoTeX mainstream, right? They're really trying to engage people with this technology. And also I see other technical providers like D-Route, they're trying to provide their private kind of I don't know, a faster, also a reliable network for IoTeX as well. So I really appreciate it, efforts like this.
Yeah.
And also maybe some fun facts, want to share with the community. So based on the current, voting, you see, yes. So besides, the voting amount, we also see, actually right now more than 20% of the, votings actually in the staking duration. We have such kind of parameter, right? The staking duration is 350 days, more than 20.
True believers.
Yeah, so
That's
actually
really
that's like
impressive.
some of the delegates and voters, they just choose the maximum duration period to help support the the network. That's something really make us feel yes, you are with us, we are with you as well.
So I feel like if we have this maximum to be 2 years, there will still be some people who really like believe in us.
Exactly.
That's really good.
And to give you some other metrics on the voting, so we have around 600, 700 unique voters, which I think is a great number, especially in this first phase, even before mainnet starts, right? Even before delegates are really starting to get in the flow and starting to understand how to contribute. But it's only going to be up from here. So why don't we dive into some questions? And I'm sure a lot of this other discussion will come up through those questions. The first one is, will delegates contribute to the mainnet code or just build upon it?
That's a good question, right? So I think that it really depends on the type of delegates, like I mentioned, right? If it's like a tech delegates, like the contribution to the main code report is really welcome. And other delegates, tech delegates, they are trying to build things around the report because they don't have to dive that deep into the code, but they can build something really beautiful. For example, explorers, like the tools for distributing the rewards to voters. That's kind of also calculator. I saw a very, very nice calculator. Yeah, so I think those very technical efforts are also very welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, just like our delegates have a very diversified profile. Different type of delegates, they contribute different resources, right? So definitely those delegates, they have the the developer resources, welcome to contribute to our either the core code or all the tools, all the things. And the also interesting part is some of the delegates, right? They already start to help us, to build up kind of the community, forum in their countries. So which means that's like some of the countries, right? So you will get a very nicely, created, forums. And this forum will have all those most updated information, articles, blogs, translated in their language. And also there is the discussion sessions. Encourage all the people, to discuss there. So this is also such kind of things is also something, really welcomed.
Yeah, definitely. This next question is around rewards. So, it's one of the first, questions. I'm sure we'll have a lot of related to it. But this specific person voted for a delegate. Later, the delegate reduced their rewards to 70% after they voted for them. So their question is, will these same situations come up? And, how will we manage tracking all these changes to delegate profiles? And, I think I can start answering this one. So, this is really a job of the community and of our brand ambassadors. So one thing that our brand ambassadors are doing is creating a spreadsheet, which, basically we're going to assign, a number of delegates to each ambassador, and they're going to vote for these delegates, meaning they will see the rewards that all these delegates are paying. And we're just going to have a very transparent spreadsheet. It's going to have what the delegates' payout percentage was, and also the payout frequency. So you can see exactly the history of, when delegates have changed their rewards in the past, and also when they actually paid out those rewards. And this is going to be open to the public. And not only that, we encourage the public to contribute to this. It's all about, what the team's job here is. We have to maintain kind of a decentralized approach to this, right? We don't want to be the police. All we're trying to do is provide very transparent information so that voters can make the best decisions. But, I guess this is a broader question,
Yeah, definitely, just like we create these, portals, very conveniently so that, all those members, voters, they always can check in, the rewards, from the delegates, and also, the buckets, all those, information will be there. So we will encourage people to, check their, wallet amount, from the reward system, very frequently. And also just like we will keep, inform and notify all those, voters or community, all the information. Just like, Larry mentioned, our job is to provide the information transparent.
Yeah. So, we'll talk more about rewards and kind of this transparency we're trying to provide. But just jumping into the next question, it's almost a similar thing. It's if a delegate doesn't fulfill its promises, will IoTeX give warnings or just rely on the reputation and voting system? So this is all about voting, right? I think, again, even for this kind of reputation and contributions, we have another initiative that we're going to be running, sponsored by the ambassadors. So, just a clarification for the general community, a lot of this activity about, structuring all of this transparent information is going to be a new role of our brand ambassadors. Before you probably met a lot of them, answering questions in community, so they're already very well ingrained. Now their new role is to help us spread information about delegates, right? And we don't plan to penalize for not doing things, but if they claim that they're doing things and just don't or just lie, I think one position that we put is we respect anonymity and we respect freedom, but we don't prioritize, we disincentivize misinformation.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, and also just like we definitely will provide those features, for our voters easily to make their decision. For example, under our, the delegate portals, right? So now we are just like developing a feature, which is like when you look at each delegate, there is a, kind of column. It will show, several different, kind of, performance, indicators, like, if they are online, right? And what's the productivity, rate, right? And what kind of the machines they are using, all those information, if it meets the criteria or not. If it meets, it's green. And if not, then it's red. So very clearly, to show to the community the quality of this delegate. So help you to make the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, above and beyond just the rewards and the reputation, it's really about community effort to make all the information transparent. And, we're not going to be the ones that, chase delegates and, ask them, hey, have you contributed? Have you done this? We want to build a very autonomous kind of ecosystem where delegates, feel very welcome to contribute in many ways. And we are able to spread that news fairly and transparently. So I think that's the kind of system that we want to create. This one is around voting with MetaMask, and maybe we can talk about some of our future plans for applications. But when they're asking why you need to revote when you go back to MetaMask and not using tokens that are already on this. Raullen can explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so basically everything that's regarding voting and staking happens on the Ethereum using ERC20 IoTeX for now, right? So that's why you have to use like a MetaMask to initiate like the call to this contract, to basically putting down your IoTeX token into the contract and create a bucket. We have this concept called bucket. You can think of a bucket is like a bucket of IoTeX, right? Everyone like using the same address can have multiple buckets. Each of the bucket can point to one of the delegates. Could be like a delegate A, delegate B, right? So say for today you vote for delegate B, but tomorrow you don't like him or her, so you want for delegate C. So you can do like a revote on top of that. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah. So documented or hash on the blockchain. So right now the blockchain is Ethereum. Later, when our Gravity chain is ready, all those kind of activity will be handled on our own native chains.
Yeah.
And also have some. Speaking of this, I have some like a very about this voting process, right? Like we say, we are working on this decentralized. We want to build like a DAO, decentralized autonomous organizations, right? So that's the reason why we use Ethereum contract concretely to do this. But we saw lots of other projects that claim they're doing POS, they are creating smart contract platform, they're doing decentralization. at the same time, they use kind of like a very centralized platform for this voting
Like
staking.
using the exchange.
Like using exchange, using
Right.
whatever website they want. So that's very, very weird to me, actually. Contract here, so everything is transparent and immutable. You guys can use the tool we provide to read all this contract to understand what is going on right now. So that's our purpose.
So of course, this is the first step, but this is a very important step so that all our community, it's the first time they can really use the smart contract product and they will have this kind of user experience. Of course, it's still initial stage. We will improve the whole experience, when the tech is, moving forward and also, our product is moving forward. But just like we really just like encourage everyone try our portal. So and there are a lot of kind of the work we have put into, and in a lot of the design ideas we have been implemented. It's quite unique. It's a really unique kind of tools to help facilitate and simplify the entire staking and voting process.
Right. I think this our voting process and our voting tools are very unique. I think not a lot of other projects vote using smart contract. One, because it's not difficult to implement. Like we're voting on Ethereum right now, and we're integrating those results onto IoTeX and impacting, how the rankings on IoTeX are adjusted. And that's, a breakthrough that no other project has done. So, the user experience will come over time, and as we build, more desktop and mobile applications. But, one thing that we're starting with as one objective is decentralization, and that's something that you can't add later on. So and we'll make that process even easier.
And also, right, in addition to that, I just like we want to educate our community members, on our IoTeX platform. The experience will be totally different from you create an account in a centralized exchanges. Actually, just like this wallet address, which account, which means that like you take your account and you take the ownership to protect your information, protect your wallet, protect your private key, and also just like in future a lot of the app will be building on top of our platform, and this is kind of the gateway. Easily you can just like get into different kind of the app through this one-stop portals.
Yeah, so stay tuned more for those one-stop portals. Something that would definitely add user experience to the whole process. This next question is around two-part question: how frequently are live votes counted for delegates? And maybe we can answer that first one. It's more of a
I think
specific one.
Right. It counts once per epoch, right? So basically, as a delegate,
once per hour, right?
It really depends on how long the epoch will be, right? So here's for delegate. Once he produces a block, he will get a block reward immediately. And once he finishes like an epoch, he will get an epoch bonus together with all the other delegates, right? That's where he will try to like give this dividend out to his voters.
Oh no! So the question is how often are votes counted or updated?
You mean on the website?
The website.
That's probably 1 hour.
So actually there are two parts. One part is just like if you make the transaction on Ethereum, so Ethereum takes some time to confirm this transaction. So this part it really depends on the traffic of the Ethereum, right? So after this part is confirmed, then just like our website is kind of actually it's less than 30 minutes. We will update one set of information. Right. So sum up will be per hour. Definitely you will have the most updated.
So it's very dynamic. You can change your votes at any time. You can make new votes at any time. So even observing what's happened in the past 2 weeks, every day big swings. So delegates are definitely very paying a lot of attention. So trying to win those new votes.
And I believe in future all our delegates will also providing some very interactive way to visualize all those data to our to our voters.
And this next part is around, are there any measures that would disincentivize people from voting for top delegates to increase their chances of getting rewards? Because it's not necessarily beneficial for the network in the long run. And, that's something that we definitely agree, and something that we built in to our rewards structure. And maybe we can explain more exactly what that means. So in our network, there's kind of a concept of fixed rewards. There's also a epic bonus that is based on your weighted votes. So the fixed ones are threshold based. Top 36 gets it, and for now, top 12 get the block rewards. And on the epic bonus side, everyone gets that, right? I think the main thing to note here is that if you vote for the top delegates, maybe like top 12 or something, you're going to be sharing those rewards with, right now there's 45 million votes for route number 1 through 3. You're going to be sharing that with everyone else that's voted for it. Versus if you voted for someone at the bottom of, around 30 to 36, the ROI is actually higher for those areas. So, take a closer look at how the rewards are structured. Different delegates have calculators on their website. But do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, to be honest, it's just like we take this into our design, how to structure the reward system. The top 3, kind of delegates is unnecessary will get the best, ROI.
It's true.
They
have lower ROI.
Yeah, but also there is, for the, kind of, if you want to maximize your ROI, you always stay in, 36. It's also just like a little bit, risky.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
you could be, vote out of this, top 36, then just like you cannot really receive the block reward. So this is also a big part. So that just like we want to make it more dynamic, right? I mean, just like it really depends on the performance and depends on if you can win the voters, right? And so the voters, please don't really look at the reward ratio. One thing is because this is dynamic. Some of the delegates may be from for the beginning, right? So they want to maybe just like try to attract more attention. So they give out a lot. We maybe just they take a loss in the initial stage, but we don't encourage that. From the the foundation perspective, actually we want them to have enough reward to cover their hardware software costs, so that can secure the entire network, and then they can share the APOC rewards with all those voters. And this APOC rewards is actually based on the ratio of the percentage of the votes. Actually, just every delegate will be the same. Yeah, so it should not affect the voters too much. So, but also we will see how it will go.
Yeah. At the end of the day, also, what we're talking about is rewards, right? If you look at the difference in rewards, after 1 year, looking back, right, I think that most of the rewards that people will miss are not from voting for people that are offering the highest percentages, but based on delegates that maybe are not reliable in producing blocks or being online or just paying rewards, right? So, one thing that we urge all the voters to do is vote based on reliability, vote based on, future plans and strength of the team and the strength of the concept of the node. A lot of times, if you're just voting for rewards, it's kind of buying at a discount, in my percent. There's some great nodes that are offering very high rewards just, because they feel confident. But, this is a really a chance to learn more about who these delegates are. Do you trust them? Do you trust them holding your tokens or staking on your behalf? And if the answer is yes, then they're a good candidate to vote for. But if there's doubts, then maybe it's good to look into other folks as well. So this next question is around in the future, what kind of user experience things will we add to the voting website? Specifically, this person is asking around transferring baskets for buckets from one account to another.
Oh, so that's a very powerful and also very convenient feature. So we like from the contracts perspective, we do have support for this feature, but on the UI side, it's not implemented yet because our concern is if people who is not familiar with contract, or maybe doesn't have this technical background, so he may do something wrong. So that's why we want to kind of like stabilize, also maturize this front end, this UI for a period of time before we add in this powerful feature to the front end. Yeah, but in the future, yes.
Yeah, actually, there are a few features that we are in discussion, right? For example, if we will provide a building kind of trusty voting features, and the idea is if some of the voters maybe just like it will take time for them to research on all those delegates, especially just like in future we'll have more delegates join the network, right? So they can kind of design this job to choose which delegates will be the most reliable or best performant, assign this job to a certain kind of trusty roles they trust, right? So this is something that we are discussion, and we'll also just like see how the the voters will the feedback of the voters, right? If this is really a must-have feature, we definitely will implement very soon.
Yeah, that's a beautiful feature.
Yeah,
my favorite.
Definitely a lot of great user experience coming. So this next question is around recently we found out that CoinMarketCap has something called a fundamental crypto asset score. It's developed by a company called Flipside Crypto, and it basically assesses the health or the rating of different blockchains. So this question is around IoTeX received a high rating of A, and among the blockchain projects, we're really focused on IoT leadership. So they want our opinion on projects that, interesting to know your opinion about projects not related to blockchain, but which work in the IoT field. I think, we do look into the IoT field a lot, but most of them are specifically blockchain use cases, right? Maybe Raullen, do you want to share some high-level thoughts on where the current IoT industry is outside of blockchain?
Yeah,
and maybe just share some thoughts on why blockchain helps and what areas we're focused on.
Right, that's a really good question, actually. So for now, like we both know, like IoT has been there for many years, but with no such like a rapid development, right? Like the current wave, actually, we are saying from the CES at least, it's like 5G is coming. It's on the way. It's kind of both deployed in some areas, China, some areas here in the US, and also some other areas around the world, right? So more and more devices get connected to the internet, get connected to the network. So that's why we are forcing like this 5G will largely solve the problem of connectivity of IoT devices. Then what's the next step, right? Apparently, like 5G is more like on the radio side of this technology spectrum. It's not that related to blockchain, not related to us at all. It's more related to like a radio frequency, like low layer stuffs. But like this connectivity will enable like a new chapter for lots of IoTs, which we think is like an identity of the devices. Because once this thing, for example, this stapler gets connected to the network, then the first thing it needs is it has to have identity in order to identify itself with other objects, or probably to interact with other objects in a privacy preserving manner. That's why we do think like blockchain has a potential, a large potential here to provide this as an identity provider to give each of the object some type of identity.
Yes, definitely. Actually, just like some of you already followed our kind of updates during the CES. Actually, we got huge interest from a lot of the IoT related companies. And also recently, maybe you also just see we have sort of partnership, which is still just like in discussion with SETA. So SETA is the decentralized streaming platform. So right now they are working with some of the also just getting to look at the TV box, which is the hardware, right? So they will be more focused on the the streaming platform utilizing the blockchain. And for us, actually, just like we are working with some of the the hardware companies to facilitate for example those content IP and using leveraging our trusted hardware, right? So which will be also launching very soon, maybe just like April or late April or May. So everything is on the way. Mainnet will be the very beginning, and a lot of the real stuff will be use cases is under the development, right? So, but basically, just like Raullen said, the blockchain and the hardware, they have a very, very important kind of the relationship in future, right? So in terms of the IDs, authentication, in terms of the sharing economy, right? So all those devices can be no more a consumer product, but actually a revenue generation machine. And definitely, blockchain will provide a fundamental payment and also the protocols for such kind of machine-to-machine transactions. All those things is possible. And also just very, very soon we will just launch a portal to introduce more of the product, the hardware product to our members. So this is one thing. And actually, just Larry just mentioned, we have a high score during the in this rating the fundamental crypto asset score. So I want to add into that 2 cents. Actually, just we got this surprise good news actually from community. Community just inform us, hey, you guys have got great score, and then we look into it and say what kind of rating system, because we see a lot of rating system. The interesting part is this rating system is actually purely based on the algorithm. So they get these ratings from thousands of the variables and mainly focus on the tech development. So basically they track all those informations, data from the GitHub, just in terms of what's the progress, the update, the frequency of the code, the commitment, the commits, and also maybe just some of the important quality code, right? And the other part will be the engagement, the activities from the blockchain users. And the third thing will be the crypto asset and the market maturity, right? So actually, just we feel it's our honor to be on the top 10 list out of the thousands of crypto projects. I think just you all know, just IoTeX is a really tech-driven project. We put a lot of efforts in building the most solid and fundamental well-designed and implemented platform. So we're happy, to find, okay, so there are certain, the rating system, they can get that, right? And also the team is actually backed by those big, companies, investors like Coinbase and DCG. So we will definitely keep up this, good work and, really focus on the fundamentals.
Yeah. And I think, just to, summarize all of that, I think creating a blockchain for IoT is something that's not easy. Right. And as Jing mentioned, really requires a solid foundation, technical sophistication and experience that you've done it in major enterprises before. So this rating is not surprising to us, but we're very humbled by it. And, more things to come in the future. This next question is around after the launch of the Mainnet Rehearsal, will the referral program change or will it remain? Do you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, actually, the referral is not only that remain. We will have bigger referral program, because from the IoTeX perspective, referral is very, very important, right? Especially it's just we rely on our early adopter, right? So they come into this network first, and then they see the value of and the potential of the project, and then just through the kind of the word of mouth, they will help us to refer more new users into network. That's a crucial part. So, and it will also create the network effect, right? So this is our goal actually. By end of the year, how many new users will be really just get into the IoTeX network? We will just make anything we can to achieve the goal to increase the users, right? We also need your help. To refer more people into the network.
Definitely. Yeah. Just as we mentioned earlier, with the role of the ambassadors expanding, this is really extending to the community too. Your role as a community is now expanding. As we grow the network. Yeah. What the core team's job is, provide more tools for you to always be up to speed.
Yeah. So one thing I want to mention, so the total amount of token be staked is important, but actually the total users which will participate into the network is more important. So actually our next step goal will be, really grow the user base. So that's why, the referral program, is important. And we want, just everyone in this network, you are already the early voters, the early participant, and please help us to spread the word, refer more people into the network.
Yeah, so this next question is around delegates, kind of what options a delegate has, right? So this question specifically is asking if a delegate can join at any time and whether they can leave at any time. And the answer is yes. It's fully decentralized, or the process of joining or leaving is fully up to you don't need our permission to do it. But Raullen, do you want to maybe explain the reason why that's important?
Yeah. So because we built the whole thing with decentralization in the DNA, right? So basically, the delegate can join. He has enough token. He stakes the token, vote for himself. Then he become a delegate. And also he's free to leave if he loses interest in us, if he wants to do something different, that's totally fine, right? But like our staking process will take 3 days to be effective. So there will be enough time for like voters to be notified. Actually, you will see, okay, this guy is trying to unstake, but the actual unstake will take 3 days.
Yeah.
So that's our way to balance both this kind of freedom, also like a voter awareness at the same time.
Yeah. So there's another thoughtful design also. Once those delegates they choose to unstake and it's no more qualified for the criteria for being a delegate, then we will have kind of warning bar on top of the and the voters portal. So all those voters they will be aware. Okay, so these delegates they are choosing to unstake and maybe opt out of the the delegate list, so that they can just get notified in advance and make their decision to transfer the votes to another delegate.
This is all, as Jing mentioned, this is about voter awareness, right? And this is actually a criteria that if I was putting a lot of tokens with a delegate, this is something that I would ask them, how long have you auto staked for? Or what's the stake duration on these tokens, right? If they said 0, that means they can literally leave within 3 days after they unstake. But if they have auto stake for 350 days, then you can guarantee that, they are going to, remain a contender. So, it's up to the community again to, probe into and ask these questions. Right now, we're working on the analytics behind the voting, how many buckets, who voted, and things like that. But, it's up to community to also ask these questions to delegates and really see the full picture. So this is the last one of the, actually, sorry, we have some more pre-submitted ones, but have there been any applicants that wanted to become delegates but were rejected for any reasons? Would be interesting to hear what kind of applicants and why, but this is not disclosable. Simply answer that. It is disclosable, and no, we don't censor any delegates trying to participate in the network. Maybe this is a good time to ask the question of, if a delegate goes completely off the wall and there's a rogue delegate, how would we address that situation?
Like Larry mentioned, right? So we are not like some other kind of blockchain project. They have like a very centralized censoring process, like KYC or whatever, to say if you're eligible or not. We are actually building like an open network. Everybody is free to join and free to leave. So that's a philosophy behind it, right? So what's your question again?
How would we handle like a very rogue delegate?
Very rogue delegate. So we trust like the decentralization. We trust like the voters to maintain the network securely. Right? If you see someone who's delegate himself to be like a BP and he got elected, and he's not producing blocks, for example, or maybe malicious attacking the system, then he will get slashed in some way. And also his voters will see this like in a very clear way. So his voters will leave him probably, and which will like drag him down.
Yeah.
Out of the census consensus delegates.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, just like we already have the built-in design to kind of just like make those rules clear, right? So they have to have certain amount of stuff, which just like to to help prevent them from really cheating the network, or they will just lose their kind of the status of being a delegate, right? And also just like we provide all those transparency. If even just like this is the number one delegates, if they don't really run the node properly or don't have those uptime or productivity rate to meet the criteria, then we will just like showcase such kind of information. They will be also not qualified to get enough rewards, all those things.
Yeah. I think the message here is if we do see a delegate doing something that is malicious to the network or providing fake information to the community, and we know about it, we will make that as widely known as possible, right? And this is like a call to action for the community. And you can think about the IoTeX team as a community member that's completely unbiased, right? If we see something that's damaging the network, you can guarantee that we will make it known. And we have right now, the core team has an extremely loud voice, so we will step in when needed, but want to create a very fair ecosystem. And we can never like completely take someone out as a delegate, but what we can do is provide the facts and let the voters decide. So indirectly kind of managing that process. And so we have around 15 minutes left. We have around 7 questions, so we're going to do a little bit more rapid fire for these ones. So are there any new investors for the next funding round or any other blockchain partners you can discuss at this time?
Yeah, so blockchain partner, definitely we have more coming, and they are from different kind of perspective, right? Either they are fundamental tech or IoT related, or just like we will have the different tech stack, we can complement each other. So definitely we have more, right? For the investor side, yes, actually just like even just like from last year, we keep got a lot of interest from different type of investors. Either they want to invest in token, or some of them they will have interest in the equity. So just like to be just like transparent. So at this moment, actually just like we still don't have any kind of equity round. So we some of the kind of enterprise corporate strategic investors, they are interested in this way. So we are still in discussion, say if there's a possibility to focus on certain product or hardware, all those things. We'll have maybe different structure to help those kind of initiative get funded, right? And so far our funding is really just like enough for us to support the entire IoTeX blockchain development.
Yeah. So this next question is around our business model. IoTeX is a nonprofit foundation. In addition to kind of the token allocation, some to the team, what incentivizes how is a project sustained and over time without a focus on revenue?
Yeah, I think there's a bigger question to all the blockchain companies, right? So everybody's trying so hard to find this like a real business model for blockchain. Like as we can tell, there are like 2 ways for now. Like one is like a two business kind of solution. Like we do have some project ongoing with like a very big businesses to kind of use our IoTeX technology to support their no matter supply chain system or what other type of systems they would need. So that definitely is one of the revenue channel. So that's like an internet product perspective, right? Once you have the traffic, once you have the user, once you have the attention from the users, you will be able to monetize this kind of attention or traffic or whatever somehow. Maybe use ads. This is Google's way, Facebook's way, or maybe use other kind of more creative way. So that's also the path we are trying to like pursuing right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to also note that nonprofit does not mean non-revenue. It means that we're not doing this to make returns for our investors, or the traditional
Mm-hmm.
equity model, but we do things to cover our costs and to maintain the growth of the network. That's the goal on the financial side.
So in my perspective, actually, I want to divide this into two parts. So the nonprofit part will be more focusing on the fundamental open source, platform. So which means just like we're nonprofit, so that just like we can open source everything, and for all those that developers or users to use free to use our code, and to develop their own the app applications, or just like use our blockchain for free, right? So this part is really the fundamental important part. So another part will be, okay, so on top of this blockchain platform, actually we can assume there are a lot of the different type new format of business model will come out, and business will be building on top of that. So this part definitely can make profit, right? So for us as a platform company, in future we are thinking just like starting from solution provider. So right now we already working with those enterprise to provide the solution, and this is more like consulting model. So we can charge this consulting fees from that, right? Already just like start, but actually just like to make it more scalable, we are also building up the product. So this product will be more, kind of just like, cater to certain usage, but will be more standardized and more scalable, right? So this is definitely the revenue, generation. But actually, just more interestingly, actually, just like we believe there will be, the new models, new business model will come out, leverage on this, token economy and also the blockchain platform. And so for us, actually, just like, we will see, as a platform, the platform level, what kind of, business model will come. For example, recently, we see, Apple, they just, have the new launch, right? So they start from, as a hardware company, but right now they are providing the service, the content, all those things, right? So it will, evolve naturally with the tech, development, and also, with the maturity of the market. And so for us, actually, just like we see there huge potential in future, and we will just like keep building the fundamental at this stage, and make sure we will have the most solid foundation, and then just like we will start to look at the business opportunities, business models, on top of that.
And it's not just us that's going to be building revenue generating products in the future, but everyone. This is kind of the new turning point for our project. The infrastructure is there, the tools will be there, and looking forward to that. So this next question, we're going to speed things up a little bit. How would you rate your current marketing efforts, and what do you think can be improved from the promotion and marketing side of things? So I think it's important to think about this with context, right? No ICO, very organic community, non-hyped kind of approach. And what that has done for us over this past 1.5 years is, it directly translates into what our voting looks like, right? 25% of circulating supply staked in 3 days. That's already huge, and it really shows the devotion of our community. The next step now is to use this very devoted and concentrated community and build it. Is like I would much rather have, a smaller community, but 25% of circulating supply staked, than a huge community that was built off an ICO and only 5% or 10% of circulating supply is staked, because everyone is short term, right? So there's definitely things we need to improve, and definitely things we'll devote more attention to, using our community, using our ambassadors, and doing this together. But I think for now we're pretty satisfied and looking forward to the future.
So adding to that, actually, just like there are two parts. One is the bottom up. Another one is the top down, right? So bottom up will be just really focused on the user growth. So actually, just like the user growth will be the best marketing, for all those the community, right? I mean, just like when we grow and more people, they will hold the tokens and will participate into the network, and this is a very solid organic growth, right? Another part will be just like we mentioned, we are just like in process of building the new stuff with the enterprise, with the hardware, companies, and we will ship the product, right? So those kind of announcement, partnership, or the product release, will definitely speak for us. And also just like we are building up the new type of product platform. So we need more kind of education to to the general public. So our job will be, we want to make the product have the have the good user experience, and also just like have the very good functions, so that they will definitely see the value and the reason why they need to use this product. Yeah.
Cool. So we have 4 questions left. We're going to answer 2 in 1 word each, which is yes. So, or actually, sorry, no, this 1 question is: rewards for users will be paid in IoTeX Ethereum token or native token. So IoTeX is going to pay delegates in the native token, and it's up to delegates to decide how they want to pay you. I think a lot of people will use Ethereum to pay because they already have your wallet addresses from voting. So yeah, the short answer is delegates will choose. Do you have any business partnership plans parallel to rehearsal phase? Answer is yes. I think we have 50 delegates, kind of our launch partners, ecosystem partners. So we're really looking forward to working with them on that piece. 2 questions I think maybe related, and we want to spend a little bit of time on is: which countries are hot for IoT, and what does IoTeX plan to do in those countries? Some off the top of my head, Korea, definitely Germany, definitely Brazil. A lot of developer attention in Brazil, Southeast Asia, but maybe pick one and just describe, some plans for that area.
Yeah, I would say just hard to pick in one country, because we got the kind of inquiry from different countries, different continents. We will say Asian definitely one of the biggest manufacturing sites in both China and Korea, and we already been working with those companies in these countries closely, right? Definitely one the big one. And also just like we start to get the inquiries from Europe and also US companies. Yeah.
Also Russia, I think the biggest communities for us right now: Korea, Russia, China, US. And we really want to do a great job at deepening ourselves in those countries before expanding to others. But always on the lookout. We have so many global delegates now. We're gonna take one opportunity at a time and see how that will work. How long after mainnet launch will the token swap roll out? So that's going to be around Q3. So it's going to be timed when we launch our gravity chain.
Yeah.
You want to briefly explain?
Yeah, we're actually working with exchanges talking about this. So I think the timeline wise should be like early Q3. So like the purpose is trying to stabilize everything on the mainnet before we moving lots of assets to the mainnet.
Yeah.
So that's the main purpose.
Yeah. And so we have one more question, and I think this is a good time to refresh and think about this question. So this is our most popular question. Can you guess what it is?
So when the token price will go up?
No.
Oh, it's no. Okay.
It was one of our friends, IOTA.
So
now that mainnet is launching, how are we tracking against IOTA? And from your perspective, what are the big differences between now these clearly 2 top blockchain IoT projects?
Yeah, I think it's both vision and execution, right? So I think vision-wise, IOTA is doing good. Like we're doing great, right? So, but when it comes down to the execution, I'm not blaming IOTA is moving slow, but I am, looks like.
I am, but I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, but like definitely IoTeX is executed really fast, right? We are like approaching this goal like very fast pace. Everyone is working so hard to get there. So that's why I think like whoever gets there first will actually own the entire future, entire story about this one. Yeah.
And also, just like in terms of the speed, right? So actually, just like IoTeX from the building to mainnet launch, mainnet alpha launch, which is within 1 year. So this is kind of really incredible kind of progress, from the starting to the execution. And also, just like we didn't fork any blockchain, we built up the blockchain from scratch.
Yeah.
But this is not enough. Actually, the real competition, to be honest, will be after the mainnet launch, right? So actually, just like all the things will be just okay. So after you launch the blockchain, and then what kind of use cases you really can empower, And this part really just rely on the fundamental design. So if the solid foundation of the blockchain, and also the usability, right? So if this platform really can empower the developers easily to build up the apps, or just like for the devices, they really can run the consensus in such a small kind of devices, right? So this is the challenging part, and also just we will see now if we are kind of ready to bring the real use cases on the blockchain. So this is the fun part.
Yeah, I think 2019 is going to be really interesting, because before this, we were still in design mode. It's still very white paper vision. Our visions are related, right? How do we use distributed ledger technology to empower the Internet of Things? But I think since then we've evolved quite a lot. Not only on the tech side, but just on the focus on product, the focus on privacy, all the things that we don't see really going on, not just with IOTA, but with a lot of other blockchain networks. So the work is 1% finished. Now we're still on the
not
path
yet.
to,
We always 1%. Yes, 1%. It's only 1%.
Yeah, that's Facebook's
Facebook's motto.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all the questions we have for today. Thank you so much to Raullen and to Jing. We're working around the clock these days, working hard to deliver this mainnet for you. As we mentioned, we're going to be running our Mainnet Rehearsal starting tomorrow, March 27th, and we plan to have that running for about 2 to 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Just to ensure we hit security and performance benchmarks before we launch it to the public. So please be patient with us. The official date, I think, will be clear after our first mainnet rehearsal tomorrow. We'll see how the delegates do under the pressure.
Be patient and stay tuned.
Yes, definitely.
And vote for them.
Vote for them. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll have a recording for you guys of the Mainnet Rehearsal session. So be sure to check that out and stay tuned to our official channels. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.